start with the right and then the left. When removing clothes, start with the left and then the right.
Sunnah a Day, proudly brought to you by Sunpick, 100% pure sunflower cooking oil. Sunpick, cook more with less.
Imagine this. You're putting together a 7-color meal, from the creamy pasta to the glazed carrots and flavorful onion gravy. This entire meal is made with our 100% pure extra virgin olive oil from our La Familia range, bringing outstanding quality and taste to your kitchen. Shop La Familia 100% pure extra virgin olive oil at any leading supermarkets near you. La Familia, heart of the home.
Radio Al Ansar, peace, unity, community. The views and opinions expressed by the guest and presenters of Radio Al Ansar are not necessarily the views and opinions of Radio Al Ansar and the Al Ansar Foundation.
It's Ria Mahomed here, hosting the Next Gen show on Radio Al Ansar. It's not just a radio show, it stands as a powerful movement in its own right. It embodies the essence of individuality, creativity and positivity, where we explore the latest trends and engage in lively discussions. Expect a mix of insight, humor and mental health, social justice and relevance that promises an enlightening and enjoyable listening experience, ensuring you don't miss out on this captivating adventure on Next Gen.
Radio Al Ansar, Durban, 90.4 FM, Peter Maritzburg, 105.6 FM.
Had it, standing up again, taking back control of myself. You showed me a light to you when I was surrounded by dark. I can't live that again.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is your host Ria Mahomed on Next Gen, right here at Radio Al Ansar. From exploring current trends into delving into pressing issues like social justice and mental health, this show fearlessly tackles the pivotal subjects that resonate deeply within our generation. My mission is to embody authenticity, relatability and humor, ensuring that even the most challenging discussions become accessible and engaging, creating a space where listeners can feel understood and entertained simultaneously. So I hope that all your Eids were very wonderful and special, and I know mine was. Now today's topic of discussion follows as the weight of perfection, unfiltered mental health in the age of teen pressure, and the social media paradox. Now in studio today we have a very special guest, Warisa Mullah, who will be joining us and sharing her insight based on the topic of discussion. Now let's talk about this, right? Teenagers today live in a world where pressure is an uninvited guest in every room and every turn, whispering in classrooms, lurking behind social media screens, and echoing through the expectations of family, friends, and society. The unspoken rule seems to be everything all at once without breaking. But what happens when the cracks start to show? Now, mental health is often polished by a public display, wrapped in aesthetics, self-care routines, and bite-sized affirmations. But unfiltered mental health, that's messy, right? It takes late night breakdowns after pretending all day. It takes the anxiety of unread messages because the thought of responding feels way too heavy. That task feels way too heavy. It's like the fear of failure in a world that glorifies perfection but punishes mistakes. So teen pressure today is definitely relentless. There is academic stress, the silent battle of comparison fueled by curated online lives, the struggle for identity in an era of ever-changing labels, and the paradox of wanting to stand out but needing to belong. So it is about balancing the act on a wire so then that falling feels inevitable, and yet the expectation remains keep walking, smile while you do it. But real mental health conversations should be raw. They should acknowledge that sometimes motivation is not enough, that resilience isn't about enduring suffering, but recognizing when to step back. That strength is in seeking help, not in just pretending that you do not need it. So if we're going to talk about teen mental health, let's talk about it without filter, because behind every perfectly composed post, there is a real person navigating the storm of growing up in an age that demands way too much. And maybe, just maybe, the first step toward healing is admitting that sometimes we need to drop the weight and just breathe. Okay, so let's be real. Mental health conversations have become trendier than ever. I mean, we see it on Instagram posts about self-care, TikToks about therapy wins, and hashtags about mental well-being. But how much of it is actually unfiltered? How much of what we see online truly reflects what it feels like to be a teenager in the world that expects you to have it all together? Okay, anyway, let's talk to the lovely Warsamullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's an honor to be here with you, Ria.
I'm so glad you could come on.
Thank
How
you
are
so much.
doing?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm well, alhamdulillah. So, now let's talk about this. Right, how do you feel about the pressure cooker generation?
I think it's crushing. Teens scroll through carefully edited lives, perfect skin, perfect friendships, perfect routines, and start to wonder, why isn't my life like this? The pressure to appear perfect isn't new, but now it's constant. There's no escape. When you're always performing for the screen, you forget how to be real.
Yes.
It's not just self-doubt, it's identity confusion,
Yes.
and it's growing every day.
Yeah, I see that. So, like, I see it as, you know, teenagers of today are under a level of pressure that previous generations might struggle to understand. So, like, academic success is no longer, you know, just about passing. It's about getting top grades, being well-rounded, an overachiever, and securing a future job that market that, you know, keeps shifting.
100%.
So, like, adding to that, the social media pressure of looking perfect, you know, living a soft life and having the worthy life of social media envy. But the question is, like, at what cost? You know, how many teens are pushing themselves beyond their limits just to maintain, you know, the illusion of success? How many are battling silent anxiety attacks while still responding to messages with LOL or I'm fine? I mean, how many feel like they have to be strong for everyone else, but no one's strong for them? You know?
I think every child needs a safe space
Yes.
to speak. It starts from your inner circle, your inner home, an open space, a free judgment space.
Yeah.
And I think when it doesn't come from your inner circle, that's when our kids source out. They say it's a DM away, it's a click away.
Yes.
Then you get validation and from the wrong people, from the wrong sources. And that's when the social media paradox comes in. Like you mentioned a little earlier, it's social media is free access, but are we really getting the validation that we require, or are we just lonely?
Yeah, we need to validate ourselves, not expect it from someone else.
Happiness starts with you, I guess.
Yes, of course. So what do you think about the aesthetic versus the reality?
I think aesthetic, we open Instagram, we open Facebook. I think, let's take Eid, for instance.
Yes.
We're scrolling through people's posts and like the perfectly setted tables, the color scheme, and that's the aesthetic behind it. I think, but the reality that's going on in the kitchen, we don't really see that.
Yes.
And we want to live up to that. I
Yes.
mean, regardless of age, you also want your picture to be aesthetic.
Yes, of course.
But it shouldn't be pressured.
Yes,
It
of
should be real,
course.
like you
Yes.
said, unfiltered, real. If it's not matching, it's okay.
Yes, authenticity is key.
100%. And I think,
Yes,
like they say, you do it for the gram. But what's really happening behind that, it's a different story altogether.
Mom screaming, no, I need to do this. And then you're like, wait, can you stay still? I just want to take a picture of this food. And then mom's like, no, I need to put it on the table.
You can move that. That's not supposed to be in the picture. Yes. Or my wall's not looking right,
Yes.
so let's change.
Yeah,
no,
like
100%.
I see it like, you know, there's this polished version of mental health awareness that circumstances and circulates online. So where self-care means, you know, scented candles and journaling, and healing is wrapped up in pricey quotes, but real mental health struggles don't always, you know, look aesthetic.
No, it's not.
I see that
It's-
on social media all the time.
It's not like you. I think it's Pinterest.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit addicted to that myself. So you scroll through and it's like this lady putting a mask on.
Yeah.
She's soaked in a tub, but it's real.
Yes.
It's raw, and it's sitting in the corner in the dark, crying yourself until you puffy-eyed. So no, it's not the aesthetic that we see on
Yeah.
every single day on Pinterest or Instagram. There's a deeper story behind every single
Yes.
struggle.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
like, you're in the education industry, right?
100%.
So what is it that no one tells you about asking for help?
What? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I speak for myself.
Yes.
I'm also someone that has a problem asking for help.
Yes.
I feel like I can do it myself. And it shows weakness.
Yeah.
I personally feel that asking for help shows weakness. And I think it comes from the peers and the people around them. They need to understand that it's okay to ask someone
Yes,
for help.
indeed.
If you can't do it, number one, I'm the victim of that. Like, I feel, no, I have it sorted.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make you feel less, and it doesn't
doesn't.
weaken you by asking for a lending hand. Like,
Yes.
can you do this for
Like,
me?
Yeah, I mean, now we've
100.
come to a point in our lives where, well, some of us fear to, ask for help because we don't want to seem belittled or weak and
Or
it's
troubling
not-
someone.
Yes,
Or troubling
yes,
someone too
burdening
much. 100%.
someone.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that's it. That's the one.
Yes, indeed.
I don't want to come across as being a burden to someone,
Yeah.
so I'll sort it out myself. But we
Yeah.
don't realize that within that process, we burn out faster
yes,
than anything.
indeed.
And if someone asks for help, it's okay to
It's
say, yes, I need
okay,
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So, like I said, there's this idea that once you ask for help, things get better. But the truth is, asking for help, of course, as you said, it's terrifying. It's not easy. It's scary. I mean, it's very messy and it doesn't always mean like immediate relief.
No.
Right. So like sometimes the people you turn to don't understand, or worse, they dismiss you with what you're going through. So like, I guess, here's something to think about, that if you ever reached out for help and felt unheard, did you try again?
Yes.
Or, did you convince yourself that no one would understand? Because the reality is not everyone will get it, but that doesn't mean, no one will, because the key is to help and keep reaching out until you find those who do.
Yeah, it's persistence.
Indeed.
Persistence is key. I think you try once.
Yes.
And then you be like, no one understands what I'm going through, and it's okay. You wither away in your little corner.
Yeah.
But, I think this is one thing I live by, that the world doesn't give you an alternative.
Of course.
And nor does it owe
100%.
you anything.
Yes.
So it's solely up to you to get back up and do what you need to do. So you ask again. It's persistence, it's perseverance.
Yeah.
And it's khair. The help definitely does come. 100%.
Of course. So like I was thinking about, how someone can reclaim their mental health, which is their way. So like, no one should have to struggle in silence, but mental health isn't just a one size fits all journey, because, therapy works for some, journaling helps for others, but some people heal by talking, others by creating. So like, it's like, I could talk to someone, and I need to talk to a therapist, psychologist about my feelings. And some people, for example, they just draw pictures and that's how they gain their
100%.
closure. So it's different ways. So there is no right way, and it's only your way. So like, let's start this conversation honestly. No filters, no pressure, and to make it look pretty. Okay, all authentic. So now, let's talk about the social media effect, right? How do you think constant exposure to curated online lives affects teenagers' mental well-being? So do you think the pressure to appear perfect has worsened over time?
100%. I think at one point phones were not so easily accessible. Social media did not have such a high demand at one point.
Yes.
So we just live life as simple and unaesthetically
Yes.
as possible, and authentic, 100%. And now there's a click of a button.
Yes.
Scroll of the finger, and it's like, oh, she has that, oh, her skin is so perfect. So it's like, why am I not like that? It's this constant comparison. And I think it's not just with teenagers. I think as you get older as well, you open up Instagram and pop on someone's story, oh, she achieved that. She got married, she bought a car, she's only 22, yet I'm sitting at 30 and I have not achieved that. So it's this pressure to succeed at somebody else's timeline.
Yes.
When we need to understand that every single person has their own timeline, and your success comes when it's due to you. And then that's when you have to have that yaqeen and tawakkul in Allah that it's going to come. And that took me a long time to learn. Being absolutely honest with you, that took me a long time. And I think it put this pressure on me that like, at this specific age, I need to obtain that. I
Yes,
need
need to
this.
be
I need
perfect.
that. And I'm like, that brought about the anxiety of having to control my environment. And if I don't achieve that and failure comes, I cannot. I crush immediately.
Yes. So like, something that I learned, that this is one strategy, is to, when you're going through a hardship, never feel sorry for yourself. Because if you're going to feel sorry for yourself, you're going to drop further than you were already, and it's going to get worse. And another thing is, when you have trauma, I learned
100%.
that don't use your trauma as an excuse. Right? So if someone's going to tell you something, then you'd be like, oh, I don't know, how do I explain this? You use basically your trauma saying, okay, well, basically saying like, okay, no, I went through this, so it's not okay that you're making me feel this way or something like
100%.
that. Whereas you should actually make your trauma allow you to become stronger and gain more, composure and your journey of self-discovery.
Can we say that people also use their trauma for a reach out of sympathy from
That-
other people
yes,
and that
yes.
sort of validation? Like, okay,
Yes,
you know what?
yes.
Hypothetically, you know what? I lost my dad
Yeah.
recently. So I couldn't do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you need to give me a leeway. No,
Yes.
it unfortunately doesn't work
Does
like
not
that.
work like that.
Time still goes on.
Yes.
Responsibilities still need to be carried. So, like I said earlier, and I restated again, the world doesn't really owe you anything.
It does not.
You can either take the trauma and use it to build and become a better individual, or you can use it to, just like I said, wither away in your little corner. So
of
it's
course.
100% up to you.
Yeah, so I see, like, in the society for teenagers, the pressure to appear perfect has really intensified over time, largely, due to, of course, the rise of social media. So, teenagers are constantly exposed to highly curated versions of, other people's lives, as you did mention. So it's like filtered images, edited videos, and highlight reels that, like, rarely reflect reality. And that's what we always see. So this creates, an unrealistic standard of beauty, success, and, happiness, making many young people feel inadequate in comparison. So, the psychological toll is significant. Studies have shown links between excessive social media use and increased anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem.
100%.
So, the pressure to maintain the ideal online persona can also lead to, the fear of missing out, as we know, FOMO.
Yeah.
So a social media comparison and even body dysmorphia. So like, unlike previous generations where social media pressures were limited to school and social circles, today's teens face pressure 24/7 with no real escape. So, moreover, the algorithms amplify content to that gamers' high engagement, often favoring unattainable beauty standards, wealth, or extreme lifestyles. So, I say this can distort, a teenager's perspective of what is normal and fuel a cycle of, self-doubt, even the act of curating their own content. So that can, of course, be choosing the best photos, crafting the perfect captions, and that can really become exhausting and anxiety-inducing. So in short, the digital age has made it harder for teenagers to simply exist as where they are without feeling the need to perform for an audience. So I guess the expectation to be the perfect picture and that all the time has become a really heavy burden amongst individuals, and it has long-term effects on mental health that are still unfolding. So let's speak about breaking the silence. So why do many teenagers struggle to talk openly about their mental health? So do you think the stigma is the biggest barrier, or is it something deeper?
I think undoubtedly it's something deeper. Like I said, it's the fear of being judged.
Yes.
And I always say, it's okay.
Yes.
And again, I come back to my point saying that we as adults and the people around them need to create a space that it's okay to come to me with whatever it is. I'm not going to judge you, speak. And if it's either you need to just have me listen to you,
Yes.
or have me give you advice. And I think our inner circle,
Yeah.
I say it and I say it loud, that our inner circle matters the
Yes.
most. Whether we open the door and we can sit with you and have a chat with you, like, you know what, this is how I'm feeling today. Not that, oh, I'm busy,
Yeah.
oh, I'm tired. And that I'm busy and I'm tired is done in day one, day two. And I guess you end up losing out the years of your child. And then when there comes a point when they isolated and they don't want to spend time with you, you ask yourself why. And then
Why did I do this?
why did I do this? You come back to understand that I should have listened. It's just a little shout out to parents that your kids need you. They wanna hear you. They wanna sit with you.
Yes.
Give them the space and give them the time.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand everyone is busy. Everybody has hectic schedules. You get working moms. You get stay-at-home moms, but
But yeah, parents, take advantage of it while you can. Because
100%.
soon you're not going to have that time. Your child's not going to give you that time.
Don't miss out those years.
Yes, indeed.
There's gonna come a time when they'll tell you, "Nah, I don't need you. I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm fine," like we said.
Yeah.
But inevitably, they're not fine. And then coming into getting that help and assistance from other people.
Yeah.
And that leads the person astray.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, like, when I was little, what I used to do is every time, just to go to sleep, I needed my mom to come lay in bed with me. And we were talking about it a few days ago, and I said, like my mom was saying, like, all of a sudden, one day, it just stopped. And, like, she really missed that, sleeping with me till I fall off to sleep. And then she would fall off to sleep with me, and then she'd go to her room. She was like, I miss that. I miss how it was. It was such a nice experience. And then now I'm, like, all grown up, 19, studying, I have Onsar, I have, like, no time.
100%. And like I said, you yourself get busy and you miss out on those years. And I think I've read somewhere is as much as you are growing up, we shouldn't forget our parents are getting older as well in the process. So I think just as much as we need them, they need us.
They need us.
So it's about creating a room and a space between mother and daughter, father and son, and really sitting down with them and being like, I'm here.
Yeah, of course.
I think sometimes that's all we need to hear.
Indeed, we need
I'm
love.
here.
Yeah.
Whether it's a phone call, whether it's a message, or whether it's just, let me hug you.
And like some people don't have this, but like with my parents, they are very, very supportive people. They have always been there for me at times, like when I needed them or I needed someone. They have always been there for me, and I'm pretty grateful for that.
100%.
Because not a lot of people have that, and that's why I will always love and treasure my parents, because there were times where I really needed someone in my life to give me that company and that time and love, and they were always there, and they always accepted me for who I was, always helped me. I mean, okay, let me tell you something. It's kind of crazy. When I was little, okay, in fact, I don't know how, but I somehow remember this. What I used to do is I don't know how my parents accepted this. I would go out to a mall. With a tutu.
Yes.
Those little ballerina puffy skirts.
Around the waist.
Yeah, I'd wear it as a top, as a skirt. Then I'd have this patterned long sleeve top and a different patterned leggings. And I'd go to the mall with that, with my makeup done on my own. So like rainbows and different colors all over my face. And they'd be okay with it. And we'll go to the mall and places with me looking like that. I'm like, okay, I will love my kids. I will support them no matter what.
Expressing yourself.
But you're not going out like that.
I think they gave you the freedom to express yourself.
Yes. Okay, we have a question that came through where this person says, Salam to you and your esteemed honourable speaker. Question, please. In comparison to discipline, how is the naughty corner versus hiding or shouting a child? Jazakallah for team, hikmah and your wisdom. So how is the naughty corner proven to be better? What do you think from an education perspective?
I think the naughty corner is a sense of discipline so they can reflect on their behavior.
Yes.
Just take a minute to calm down. It's whether they're screaming or they have a tantrum, to designate the area, to be like, take a breather.
Calm down.
Reflect.
Yes.
But if you're going to start hurling back and screaming, it's going to be a constant back and forth.
Yes.
So it's not a bad thing to have a naughty corner. Okay, maybe the name.
Yeah.
We can
just edit that.
Just edit that. No.
Just make it look sweeter.
Yes. You just add a little fairy dust on it.
Yes,
Add a little fairy dust on it. 100%. But I don't think it should be labeled as naughty corner.
Yes.
You can just time out.
Yes, a
I like that
corner.
one.
That is perfect.
Something that's used at school as well. It's just a little timeout corner, whether it's a little cushion or just a side of the house. Reflect. Is it okay?
Yes.
Then you can ask. Do you think it's okay what you did? Would you like someone doing the same?
Yes.
It's just a communication back and forth. But the hurling and the screaming and I think it's just a back and forth that gets nowhere.
And I mean, thinking about it, this we'll say time out corner is actually, I would say, is actually really important. I mean, I will definitely take that to note when I have a child one day, because as you did say, it is important. It's a way of self-reflection, what you did as a child especially. So it's also quite a good strategy, because instead of like screaming at the child and yelling at them, going on about what they did and how wrong it was, like of course you do that, but handle it in a subtle and civil manner. But you tell them, okay, this is what you did. As their punishment, let them sit in a corner, face the wall, and that's it.
Let's not call it naughty corner.
Yes,
because it's like
the timeout.
Yeah,
yes,
it gets them. Excuse me, it gets them a little hyped up. That it's the naughty corner,
and that aggravates them and makes 100%. It worse.
Let's go with timeout. And I guess, like I was telling you a little earlier before we came in to the studio, I said it's a carryover. It's a generational thing. Like my grandparents did it to my parents. It was screaming and hurling, and eventually I need to know where it needs to stop.
Yes, of course. And what I was also thinking about is with certain things that parents, let's say, a parent will tell their child, what's important is the way in someone says something. If you're reprimanding, if you're reprimanding a child, like for them to listen and understand, speak to them nicely. Don't go at them with full force, and the way it's like the presentation of your words too. That's really important. The way you speak about it.
Words stick.
Yes. Yes.
I think my mom always says this. Shout out to her. She says, "Hit me, slap me. It's okay. It'll heal." But words is something that you carry with yourself.
Indeed.
Through adulthood.
Yes.
And I say it with all honesty. Words that you have experienced or were said to you carries on to adulthood, and it's an impression that stays with you.
Of course. Okay, we're going to go on to an ad break, so I'll see each and every one of you soon.
Taking back control of myself. You showed me a light to you when I was surrounded by dark. I can't live that again. I'm asking Rabbim, please have mercy on me and take it easy on my heart.
This segment is brought to you by Kenfield Auto, your RMI approved service and repair specialist. 236 Brickfield Road, Overport. Kenfield Auto.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار.
Car won't start?
Kenfield Auto.
Noisy brakes?
Kenfield Auto.
Due for a service?
Kenfield Auto. Kenfield Auto, the answer to all your car problems. Your service and repair specialist for your VW, Audi, Suzuki, Toyota, or just about any vehicle. Kenfield Auto, your RMI and insurance approved workshop to handle them all. 236 Brickfield Road, Overport. Call us on 031 207 2399. Kenfield Auto.
اللهم إنك ترى ما نزل بنا في غزة من الأحوال يا ذا الجلال والعزة يا ذا الجبروت والعزة اللهم أعز أهل غزة اللهم فرج عن أهل غزة اللهم فرح أهل غزة اللهم انصر أهل غزة اللهم داو جريحهم اللهم اشف مريضهم اللهم اقبل شهيدهم اللهم ارحم ميتهم اللهم كفكف جراحاتهم وبرد آلامهم اللهم واجعل لهم وللمسلمين فرجا قريبا يا الله اللهم فرج عنا وعن المسلمين في كل مكان اللهم انصر الإسلام وأعز المسلمين واخذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداء الدين يا رب العالمين سبحانك سبحانك ترى الظالمين فتمهلهم حتى يظنوا أنك تهملهم وتبتلي الصالحين في الدنيا حتى يستيئسوا فإن استيئسوا أتيتهم بنصرهم اللهم إنك تعلم أن جراحات المسلمين كثيرة وآلامهم كثيرة في كل مكان وفي كل زمان اللهم فانصرنا على أعدائنا يا الله اللهم فثبت أقدامنا يا الله.
You know what really gets under my skin? When my cake or icing just doesn't come out right. It's such a bummer. But I found this incredible margarine called Wooden Spoon, and it's been a total lifesaver for my baking adventures. It makes my icing turn out just perfect every time. When I whip up something with Wooden Spoon, I feel like a master baker. Seriously, my cakes have never looked better. The secret? Wooden spoon margarine. It's like the magic ingredient for nailing those perfect bakes. And guess what? It's even endorsed by the South African Bakers Guild Association. Just another quality product from the Willowton Group.
Get ready for South Africa's premier paddle event, the SA Grand Open Juniors, taking place on Saturday, April 5th from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Sunday, April 6th from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. with players from all over the country and Botswana. Family fun, pop-up stores, giveaways worth 25,000 Rand, free entry, SA Grand Juniors, in partnership with Kababish, Interior Creations, Smash Pedal Dome, Ridge Park College. See you there.
We are unity, and you are listening to Radio Al Ansar.
It's Ria Mahomed here, hosting the Next Gen show on Radio Al Ansar. It's not just a radio show, it stands as a powerful movement in its own right. It embodies the essence of individuality, creativity, and positivity, where we explore the latest trends and engage in lively discussions. Expect a mix of insight, humor, and mental health, social justice, and relevance that promises an enlightening and enjoyable listening experience, ensuring you don't miss out on this captivating adventure on Next Gen.
Radio Al Ansar, Durban 90.4 FM, Peter Maritzburg 105.6 FM.
Never turning back to what.
Okay, lovely people, we are back with our lovely Wara Similar and of course myself, Ria Mahomed on Next Gen. Now we were talking about, teenagers, right? So can you tell me, academic and social pressures. Now, with the pressure to excel in school, maintain friendships, and prepare for the future, how can teenagers create a healthy balance?
I think there has to be a break before the burnout.
Yes.
And I'm another number one victim of that, whether I was in school or whether it's in my adulthood. We want to push and push and push, and then we kick into survival mode. But inevitably, we don't realize that we're burning ourselves out to a point where mentally you're burnt out and physically you are burnt out. You are exhausted. You don't want to eat. You don't want to do anything. So as much as we wish to push and become the best versions of ourselves and reach the point of success, there also comes a time where you need to pause.
Yes.
You have to pause. And like you said, self-care is not always taking a bubble bath and doing your nails.
Yes.
It is much more than that. And if I might put out there something that helped me through my teenage years is the musalla. Yes, undoubtedly. I tell my kids at school that is your magic carpet like Aladdin. It's literally takes you places. And if ever you in doubt, if ever you feel that you're reaching burnout or you don't know what to do, open that out. Even if it's not in the designated time of salah, open it out, sit, and your creator is waiting for you.
Indeed, he's
every
always
step
there,
you take, he's there. So I guess you need balance. We get you. You want to reach that point of success, but there also comes a time where you need to remember that you are important as well.
Yeah,
how you feel and what you're going through is just as important.
Yes, of course. Like, I was looking at different, strategies and people use to maintain, this healthy balance, where I was looking at like prioritization and time management because, teens often feel overwhelmed because everything seems so equally urgent. So I guess the key is learning to prioritize, like for example, use a planner or digital calendar and that you can break tasks into manageable steps. Then you can set realistic goals because not every test needs to be an A+, and not every social event is a must attend. Then you can learn to say no to unnecessary commitments because that drains your time and your energy, especially mentally and emotionally. Then of course setting boundaries, like academic boundaries, so you avoid overloading on extracurriculars or studying to a point of burnout, as you did say.
100%.
So set a cut-off time for schoolwork and allow yourself to rest, allow yourself to breathe. Then social boundaries, because it is okay to, take a break from socializing when needed. So true friends will understand if you need personal time. Then, of course, you need to set digital boundaries. Limiting screen time, especially on social media, that can prevent distraction and comparison anxiety. Then finding the right support system. I was looking at this, right? So you can talk to a trusted friend, teacher, or a family member that can ease the pressure. You can seek professional help when stress becomes overwhelming, and that can bring a sign of strength and not weakness. Something that I did see, it was a quote, I'm just trying to remember it, is you are strong if you cry, you're weak if you do not cry. And which I think is actually really important, because what you do, if you cry, that is your way to self-discovery, composure. 100%. That is how you reflect upon your actions, your feelings, your emotions, what you're going through. And that's exactly what makes you stronger. That builds your character, that builds who you are. That's what I also say. Trauma builds your character.
You need to choose, though.
Yes.
Your trauma can either define you.
Yes.
Or it can make you a better person.
It can build
and like you said, it can build you, it can empower you, and you can use that empowerment to empower other people.
Yes, and that's really important. Because there are many people around who don't have that support
system.
They do not have that. And I feel sometimes like if I see someone down, like I've had friends, right? And I've had moments, of course, I'm human. I've been down, emotional, went 100%. Through some trauma, and well, of course, I had those down negative days. And then I'd have some people, like friends, for example, and they would be going through something terrible and they feeling down. And now I feel like, okay, they don't have the support system. I have it. I have my parents, my family. But like, I just like at that time, I couldn't really think about, talking to them about it. But I was like, okay, for me to feel better and okay, it's for me to help someone else. And that also did actually cause a burnout, right? But anyway, what I founded solidarity and solace in was helping and aiding others.
It goes, like you said, I'm in the education.
Yes, because it makes me feel nice. I mean, you do it every single day as a teacher, as an educator. 100%. You do that. You help others, and I guess that makes you feel good.
It does. I think, especially when you can resonate with someone.
Yes.
When they're little and they come to you and you just see a mirror in front of you.
Yes.
Like, I was there once upon a time, but now I'm on the flip side of the coin. And if you can give the advice that you wish you could tell your younger self and you wish someone came to tell you, why not?
Yeah.
And the best is when they leave the school and they come to you, they run to you and they're like, I remember you because of this advice that you've passed on. Maybe the content I don't remember, but it's the difference that you've made. 100%. And you don't know, you're touching lives and changing
people's lives. Yeah, I love that. And of course, we're looking at individuals redefining success, which is crazy because, not everything has to be about competition and perfection. So success should include happiness, growth, and well-being, not just, grades and achievements. So learning how to enjoy the present rather than constantly chasing the next milestone really makes a huge difference in, mental health. So I guess balance isn't just about, doing everything, and it's more about, making intentional choices that, and prioritize, your own emotional, mental well-being, and of course physical well-being too. So the sooner teenagers learn this, the healthier their mindset will be as they move to adulthood. So another thing is, now let's look at parental expectations versus personal happiness. So what do you think? How do parents' expectations impact teens' mental health? And now, are today's teens under more pressure from family than previous generations? What do you think?
I have two answers for that.
Yes, go
it's
for it.
Either sometimes family doesn't put the pressure on you.
Yes.
And I speak from personal experience and from, as you said, being in the educational department. It's not always the family, it's your own inner expectations.
It is, of course.
And I'm number one guilty for that. It's my own inner expectations. You want to thrive, you want to, and then when failure hits, you don't know how to deal. So at times, yes, it's your parents and parents in general that place that expectation on you because they want to see you succeed or achieve a goal that they might not necessarily have achieved at that given point. But there's also the flip side of it where you yourself place yourself in that boat of expectations, and when it's not met, like I always tell my kids at school, always leave room for failure. Don't set your heart up so much that when something doesn't work out, you crumble and you feel like you need to start all over again. So it's two sides of the coin, heads and tails.
That's true. And I mean, there's so many factors relating to this, because individuals, teenagers, they fear of disappointing their parents, because many teens feel this intense pressure to meet their parents' standards, whether it's in academics, career choices, or personal behavior. And this can create, a constant fear of failure, leading to anxiety and self-doubt. When I spoke about, career choices, and that's what individuals feel intense pressure for, is like, let's say, and this actually happens in the community, where an individual maybe wants to study education, but their parents want them to study medicine. That's important, and then they basically get forced to study medicine because of their parents and their families, and then they feel this intense pressure, and that also causes a burnout.
It does. It causes the burnout faster than you expect. I think if you're forced to do something that your parents want you to do, you're not going to love it.
Indeed.
And you're not going to give your whole heart towards it. I can be honest, education was not my first choice. But when I started it, I won't change it for the world.
You fell in love. I fell in love with it. Yes.
I think as much as the kids need us, honestly,
need them
we
too.
need them too.
Yeah.
They make a difference. They make you want to be better each day, just to shine bright just for them. And I nobody pushed me, and it was my own personal choice, and I would never take it back for anything.
You're truly inspiring. I saw
Thank you.
I was looking at, struggles with self-worth, because, when love and approval seem tied into achievement, teens may begin to, equate their value with their grades, awards, and success, where this can result in a low self-esteem and imposter syndrome.
It's like, if I don't get an A, if I'm not up on the award stand, then it's not good enough.
Yeah, my life is over. I have nothing left for me.
Exactly. And you know what? It's okay. Everyone's success lies differently.
Yes.
I think kids need to understand that. Parents need to understand that. If I did not succeed here, my success will come elsewhere. Like I said, everyone develops cognitively and have different levels of development.
Yes.
You might be artistic. I might have some other strengths. So if I'm not academically inclined, I might have some other strengths. So it's okay.
It is.
It's okay. It doesn't determine your self-worth, and it doesn't make you less than someone who's an advocate or a doctor who is sitting with 7 A's. And took me some time to realize that, but I got there eventually.
I love that. Then, of course, we're looking, as you did mention, increased anxiety and burnout, which is insane. I mean, the drive to, meet high expectations can lead to, overworking, sleep deprivation, and, mental exhaustion. And that leaves a little time for relaxation or socializing. And then, of course, repressed individuality, where some parents impose career or life paths on their children without considering their interests or passions, as I did mention.
Yeah.
Mom, I want to study education. No, you're studying medicine. That's how it is. And that, of course, they leave this on their children without considering their interests or passions. And, this can often make teens, feel trapped in a future that they do not truly want. And I mean, of course, then we have the fear of communication, which is it become a drastic part of society today.
It does.
Where teens feel that their parents won't understand or accept their struggles, and they may bottle up their emotions, leading to loneliness, depression, and sometimes unhealthy coping mechanisms. So, I have a question.
Sure.
Are today's teens under more pressure than previous generations? What do you think?
100%.
Yes.
I think previous generations were much calmer.
Yes.
Much calmer. It's like... I'd say for womenfolk as well, we've become more career-orientated, a drive to be financially independent.
Yeah.
So the pressure builds much more. And I think it's also the need to have that degree or have that qualification to get a good job. I mean, jobs are rather scarce these days. So yes, the pressure builds. Sometimes it's your own pressure that you place on yourself. It's parental pressure, it's societal pressure. So it comes from all over. But like you said, you need to either silence the noise and you allow what you want to allow in. So you either put a speaker on what you want, or you can allow what other people want for you.
Of course. And then when it comes to academics, for example, with teens, I see that standards have become way higher. right? So like the competition for top universities and jobs have become, more extreme, pushing
100%.
students to perform at unrealistic levels, which is not very nice, especially as I said with the older generations and how they judge, well, our generation and teams, saying, okay, no, you're not allowed to have a 50%, or sometimes maybe an 80% is not good enough.
No, there's 80
That's
there.
how
But
it is.
you could have gotten 90.
Yeah, you could have got 90 or 99 at least.
100%.
Then, of course, social media comparison. Unlike, past generations, today's teens constantly see peers, showcasing achievements online, making them feel as if they're falling behind.
Oh, definitely.
That's how it is. And then, of course, economic uncertainty, where many parents push harder because they believe success is the only way to secure a stable future in an unpredictable world.
Financial stability as well.
Then, of course, cultural and generational gaps, where some parents, especially in immigrant or traditional families, they expect their children to follow rigid career paths, like, as I said, a doctor, lawyer, engineer. That's how it is, dismissing alternative dreams.
Yeah, that's the 3 on the
Yes,
list.
that is the 3. Actually, yeah.
That is the 3.
And then, of course, okay, now we have to sit back. We have to find a healthy middle ground. So I guess you could work with open conversations where parents and teens need to be honest, judgment-free discussions about expectations, mental health, and personal goals. Then redefining success, where parents should, understand that success isn't just academic. It includes happiness, emotional intelligence, and life skills. Then, of course, encouraging a balance where you have a well-rounded life that includes, your hobbies, your friendships, and rest, of course, which is just as important to academic or career achievements. So while parents' expectations can be well-intended, they must understand and be balanced with understanding and flexibility. So teens happy is not just about academics and what you have and what you don't have. It's about your mental well-being, and that should never be sacrificed for the sake of an ideal that isn't really theirs. So, okay, let's talk about the role of schools, okay? Now, are schools doing enough to support students' mental health? So what changes would you like to see in the education system to better address these struggles? So are schools doing enough to support students'
I think
mental
having a psychologist based in the school and freely accessible to the learners makes a difference.
Yeah.
It's a safer zone. It's a more controlled environment, which prevents your children from doing something that they're going to regret. So definitely a psychologist in-house makes a difference. I know various schools do have that, where the children go back and forth to the psychologist, and there's been proof of improvement. And I think even in class, apart from content being discussed, there should be a time where it's free talk. If there's something is bothering you, you are more than welcome to come forward and express it, whether it's in front of everyone or it's just to me.
But also, of course, when it comes to this whole topic, stigma and lack of safe spaces, where, many students fear judgment from teachers or peers, that if they open up about their mental health struggles, and that will lead to silence and isolation, because they're going to be looked at differently. They're not going to be seen for who they are, and they're just going to be seen as if they have an issue. I know, like in certain families, if you express that, okay, okay, for example, anxiety, you are diagnosed with anxiety, you take medication for anxiety, and your family finds out about it, they're going to treat you differently as if something's wrong with you. Whereas just because you're taking anxiety medication does not change who you truly are as an individual. It doesn't make you any different. It's just like, okay, I'm just taking anxiety medication, that's it. It's not going to make a difference.
Like you said, there is a stigma behind mental health, and like you said, taking medication or going to a psychologist or needing that help, it's not because something is wrong with you.
Yeah, it doesn't change who you are as a person.
No, it doesn't. It's just that I need assistance to gravitate my emotions, which I certainly can't. And I find that the best way to do so.
Just because you need to speak to someone does not mean you're nothing, or you're not good enough.
No, you shouldn't be branded.
Or you're not normal. Because you'll be looked at as if you're weak. That's how it is. But in actual fact, when you go through a hardship, you have to take anxiety medication. That actually makes you stronger, because it helps you reflect on your life.
And you realize
are-
that there is a problem.
Yes, indeed.
You've accepted that you have a problem and I need to seek the assistance as per.
Yeah.
And that actually makes you stronger.
And that's how you grow as an individual.
100%. It's
Yes.
rather you deal with it now than later.
Yes, of course. Okay, well, we are unfortunately running out of time, but Jazakallah for coming on. It was absolutely wonderful.
And it was absolutely a pleasure being here with you and
thank you
sharing
so
my
much.
views.